It's like Introduction to Modern Web Testing with Playwright. So today we are going to see more on the UI or the browser test automation. Though the capability of Playwright is huge, you can do API test also through this. Fine. Let me start with this slideshow, but we will see practical also. We are using this slide so that, in a systematic way, we will talk about some topics. Okay, let's see this. So, what is Playwright? Um, Playwright is a test automation framework, you can say, right? Why I'm not using the tool word? Because tool, when we say tool, it looks like that there should be some user interface on its own, right, where you can do something, right? But Playwright provides you the structure basically and the supporting libraries. By using it, you can automate the test flow. Very simple. Similar to Selenium. Similar to Selenium, you can say, right? But architectural wise, there is a difference. How Selenium works and how Playwright works, there is a difference. That is, it is also open source. When we say open source, that means that you can get the core code of the Playwright and you can customize it based on your requirement. Though generally we do not require to do that, right? Because all the functionalities which is provided by the core Playwright library itself is sufficient to perform our web automation. Okay, it is built for end-to-end testing of web apps. So it's not like that you can automate only a certain kind of web application. It's like any web application you will be able to automate. So anything which works over the, let's say, internet or which works in the browser, you will be able to automate. It's like this. It supports multiple browser, Chromium, Firefox, WebKit. Why people are using it? Because by using it practically, people have come up with the what we say, um, that okay, this is more reliable, it is scalable, and it does testing in a fast way, right? So if you just a big comparison here, that Selenium architecture is such a way where when you work with the Selenium, it's bit slow, right? If you compare with the Playwright, right? In both way we can work, but it's bit faster. Playwright is bit faster. Fine. What are the features here? Multi-browser support, cross-platform means you can write your code in, let's say, Windows or Mac OS or Linux, whatever you're using, and as at the same time you can execute your code in any system. It's not like that you're writing in Linux, so you will be executing in Linux only. It's not like this. You write in anywhere and execute anywhere. It's like this. Of course, you have to do some kind of configuration part to run in different machine, but it's very small part which you have to change. It has automatic waiting and reliable execution part, network interception and mocking. It has like headless and headed mode. So when we say headless mode, it's like when you execute it, you will not be able to see the browser itself, right? The interface. So it will run in headless mode where, okay, in the background it will execute. Headed mode means when you actually see the browser, which is doing a lot of functions, lot of actions. Fine. Um, Comparison is inevitable. Of course, if you have already worked with Selenium or if you have heard a lot of things about Selenium and Cypress, this question is very obvious that is it better? Is it similar to Selenium? What is the learning curve here? How much time it will take? Whether it will be good for my future or not? Whether it will be good for my project first of all or not? Correct. So there will be comparison. Now let's understand. Every tool has its own advantage, disadvantage, limitations, beauty, right? Selenium is completing its 20 years. So it has seen a long journey where they have developed a lot of things, right? At the same time, people working with the Selenium or who have used the Selenium, they also know the limitation, let's say, or the people who have created, Playwright, let's say, they also know the pain point and they come up with the solutions like this in a different way. But lot of problems with other tools, right, are taken care here. They have fixed those things which will make Playwright better like this. Speed is one thing. Um, because the way Playwright works, it makes it faster. It's like this. Browser support is there. Selenium do not have any competitor in terms of browser support. The capabilities which Selenium has, nobody can compete, right? Um, Ease of use is also subjective. It all depends on your own technical capability to understand something, technical capability to use the things at the right place. Right? Good part with Playwright is it supports different language. You can work with JavaScript, Python, C Sharp, Java, and you can use the Playwright capabilities. Right? People are using more with JavaScript, TypeScript. Right? There is a reason, as I said that because their front-end technology is also built on, or the middle layer also sometimes is built on JavaScript or with the node modules. So for them, it's a very obvious choice to work with Cypress or Selenium, Cypress and Playwright, any one of these. It's like this. They prefer doing it, especially the new age tools which works with mobile also, which works with the desktop browser also. They prefer Playwright nowadays more like this. So question is how I should learn then? Whether I should learn Playwright with Java or Playwright with JavaScript, Python, C Sharp. It's a very common question. When we work in Selenium also, this question is like very common question. Everybody thinks about it that whether I should work with Selenium with Python or Selenium with Java. Right? Thing is, work with any language. It's perfectly fine. You have to understand the library, the capabilities, the functions, how to use it. Syntax wise is different. Maybe how you write in Python, you declare the variable, it's a bit different maybe. How you work in JavaScript, it will be a bit different. How you work in Java it will be a bit different, right? We have to understand how the modern age applications are built and what is more favorable, right? So what we have seen is JavaScript with or TypeScript with Playwright, people are using more. There are companies who are working with C Sharp .NET and their entire thing is built on the C Sharp. So they prefer C Sharp. It's like this, right? Who are using more on a Microsoft technologies, they generally use C Sharp. Okay. Now, coming to the point, what we will be doing as a course here, we will teach Java, JavaScript, TypeScript, and then Playwright. Why we are doing this thing? Let's understand because we just don't want to deliver the session somehow. We want our students to understand the things, how programming works, why it is important, and we want to build a mindset that okay, you have to learn continuously. Even if you will leave this course after 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 5 year, 10 years, your mindset should be in such way that, okay, come what may, I can do this thing. I can automate this particular thing. I understand the concepts about data structure, memory, utilization. I understand how to store the data. I understand how to sort it, how to store a particular kind of values in the JSON, how to retrieve the data from the JSON, all those things. So we want to build more on the mindset side. So that's why we are going to do Java also, JavaScript also, TypeScript also. Another thing, the reason why we want to do it is because we want to make the students more capable and you know so that they can get the job basically in simple word. If there is opportunity to work with Playwright with Java, they will be able to do it. If there is opportunity to work with Playwright with TypeScript, JavaScript, they will be able to do it. If there is an opportunity to work with Selenium also, they will be able to do it. Why? I'll tell you. If you have a strong base of Java and let's say Playwright also, believe me, if there is a company who want to work on the Selenium, let's say with Java, you'll be able to do it. Because only difference is you have to learn the library, how it will work. So for example, if you want to open a browser, the command will be different. Command obviously will be different. How you do in like in Selenium Java, you say driver.get, right? In Cypress, you say visit, cy.visit, you say. Here you may say navigate or something, right? In Playwright, right? So there is a difference. But the basic thing about finding the element, core concept is same. Let me write it. Let me write it so that people will understand who has used some kind of tool already. So any automation library or tool, right? There will be syntax like commands which you can use it, right? What are those commands? Generally, what are those commands? Let's talk about the browser automation. What kind of command there will be? It's a very common sense. You can say opening the browser, some kind of command will be there, right? Then navigating to a particular website URL, right? That will be obviously a command. And then there will be actions. Actions to perform over page elements, right? Anything which you see in websites is a page element. Anything. So for example, if I am on a website, let's go to any particular website. Let's say this is a website, right? There is this search box. This is page element. There is a link. There are a lot of links available here. That is also element. You want to click on it. You want to pass some text on that. There are a lot of things that may happen, right? So all those are called page actions, right? You want to perform some actions on page elements. Then there will be some advanced level thing like okay, you want to open a new browser, you want to shift to the new browser, you want to download, upload the things, right? All those things, but everything is related to what you want to perform in a page, right? This is all syntax part. Believe me, if you understand the core part that okay, this thing happens, right? You can learn any tool, not just Playwright. 80% of all the tools are same in terms of doing these things, right? Syntax is different. Obviously, syntax will be different because why it will be same? Let's answer why it will be same. It will create a lot of confusion otherwise, right? If they or how they will, because different people are making different tools, libraries. So obviously they will make it based on what they want to do, what function name they want to give. Right? Now library function. So now we have to understand, okay, the project, right? Or your, let's say Cypress or Selenium, anything you are working, it comes with its own usable functions or reusable functions. Basically, same thing, whatever actions you want to perform, those things are already like pre-written. You have to use it in a better way, right? Like this. So all the tools will have its own libraries, its own functions, which you have to learn like this. Obviously, it will have its own syntax. So these two things are interlinked, the library function and the syntax, how it will be. Framework type, it will be same across all automation tools, things. The thing is, there are framework types. One we say data driven framework, one we say keyword driven framework, hybrid framework, behavior driven development supported framework, right? So generally 5 to 6 kind of framework is there. In any tool, the concept wise it's same. So when we say data driven framework, in Selenium, in Cypress, in Playwright, it's all same. Where your data is driving the framework. It's like this in simple words. If you talk about the Cucumber, if you are implementing Selenium, Cypress, Playwright, same. Core concept is same, that there will be a feature file. Let's talk about Cucumber so that if anybody here who have not worked on it, we will understand. They will understand it. Cucumber means it's like which will support behavior driven development. Okay, it's like this. So you have feature file. In feature file, you have the requirements as a step of the actions which user can perform, right? I'll show example also, practical also, but let's understand feature file is there where steps are written. Then you convert it to step def. So every step will have its own definition part, like what it wants to do, and then core actions. You perform based on the step definition. Okay, I want to open the browser, I want to do this thing, I want to click on the button, I want to fill the form, all those things. Right? Now, coming to the framework structure part, that varies organization to organization, how they want to write the framework structure. There is no standard framework structure, right? Standard has come now because if the similar kind of requirement is there to maintain frameworks, now there are fixed set of things like, okay, there will be source folder, there will be test Java folder where all the test cases will come. There will be source test resource folder where you will put, let's say, input data or the config file, right? There will be output folder. So that is very common to all the frameworks. But companies or the organization or in the project, you may have your own framework structure. It's like this. So how Playwright is resolving this, that is thing also we have to understand. Now, the kind of framework which by default, a basic framework which Playwright is providing, there you will get to know, okay, where I have to put my test cases, where I have to put my fixtures or the input data, where my report will be generated, all those things is some fixed structure is there, but you can modify it. You can make new folders also. So there is a capability in all sort of framework structure, whether it is a Selenium, Cypress, Playwright. There is a freedom that you can create your own folders and files also. You have to link it obviously to your own code. Then it's like this. CI pipeline, continuous integration thing. So generally, I'm not saying there are other tools also. I'm not saying just this two tools, but Git and let's say Jenkins, right? Free thing, free thing, right? You don't have to pay for it. Um, for the basic services, you don't have to pay for this thing. Right? So CI thing is same across all framework, across all automation tools. What you do with the Git, you maintain your code, right? In a centralized way. Code, storage. This is just storage thing. Basic thing is storage, right? Though you can do a lot of things now with the Git, but basic thing is you want to store your code. You want to, again change the code, again store it somewhere, correct? In a cloud or centralized way. What Jenkins will help you? Jenkins will help you on execution or compilation or building it, right? Basic thing in simple language, execution. Why? Because execution will happen only when you will compile it and then obviously it will execute. End goal is executing something in terms of testing. So because you want to do more on the automation side, obviously you want to create the whole framework in such a way that there will be minimum human intervention. You want your code to be executed every Friday at morning 9 a.m. Let's assume you can do it through Jenkins. You want to execute your smoke test cases whenever there is a new build is coming or new deployment to the QA environment has happened. The moment the deployment is done on QA environment, automatically your smoke test will be executed without saying so or without doing it explicitly. So that kind of thing you can set up in Jenkins. Same concept across all automation tools. Only thing is you have to do in a particular way. It's like this. Maintenance of framework. Now this is important part. The year by year when you get matured on testing in the automation, you get matured on the coding side, you will understand that we have to write our automation code in such a way that it will be maintainable. People can, or your team members or anybody can understand your code easily. That is first thing. They can contribute on the test automation very easily so that life will be easier for everyone, right? A lot of organizations are doing this mistake. They create very complex framework, very complex framework for the test automation, and then they think that okay, we will hire someone and then they will start working on it. There is a lot of learning, then training is required if you want to do it in that way, right? We are not against with that. Companies are doing it, that's fine, but we should not overdo it. It's like this, right? Write the code which is suitable to your application. Write the code so in a simple way anybody can understand it, maintain it, and then train people. If you're writing anything new, you're writing reusable function, you want to create some abstraction part here, you want to create some new, what we say, utilities, and train people. So I'm saying this to the senior professionals here who are already working in test automation. Fine. That's a basic thing. Going back to our PPT thing, that okay, what are the basic things other test automation tool has, and how Playwright may be a bit different. Um, Parallelism, isolation, these are the advanced Playwright features. You want to execute your test cases parallelly on different browsers. That's very easy. That's by default, it works on the parallel mode in different browsers. You can set up it to work on a particular browser, right? Network mocking and route interception is there. While doing API testing, also a lot of things you can do with Playwright. Okay. There is a trace viewer debugging for the failure. Then and there you can check that, okay, a particular step is failing, why it is failing, right? And you can um, fix it then and there, and then immediately check that, okay, it's working fine or not. API testing. So why companies are preferring again Playwright is because in a single tool or the library, you can perform your um, UI test automation also and API also. It's like this. Otherwise, what happens with Selenium, let's say, that you are, because Selenium is built for the browser testing, there is no doubt, right? It cannot do desktop application, it cannot do APIs. But then if you want to do APIs with the Selenium, you have to use some other library, let's say REST assured, right? But now with Playwright, you create a single framework and put your API test cases in a single folder and your UI in a other folder. That's it. But obviously, syntax part you have to understand how to do API testing. Fine. Build inbuilt reporter is there in Playwright and it looks very good. I'll show in some time. You can integrate with other kind of reports, LU report and other reports. Um, Cucumber kind of report also. I'll show what other reporting thing you can use. But with Selenium Java, sorry, Playwright with Java, you can use again that extend report thing you can add there. Debugging is already there. Playwright inspector is there. So you want to inspect a particular element in the web page, you can inspect it. There is a screenshot and video capture thing is there. You can capture the whole video of your test flow like this. Very easily to integrate with GitHub Actions, Jenkins, Circle CI. Um, you can run your test in the pipeline. You can run the test case in headless mode. You can generate the test reports, common capabilities. Best practices when you write the Playwright test is um, you should record you write the stable test cases that will avoid flaky tests. So flaky test is which fails sometimes and which gets passed sometimes, right? So it's not stable, right? Um, Fixtures you can use for your stable test setup, so you don't have to worry about uh, how to put your input data, whether I have to put it in Excel sheet, whether I have to put in CSV, or there are different input format, right? How to then you have to write your own code to get the data. So for example, Selenium, you use Apache POI to get the Excel sheet data, right? Or some other libraries to get data from JSON, let's say Jackson parser you use, a lot of things, XML data, right? Playwright and any JavaScript based libraries, right? They make this work a bit simpler because JavaScript libraries are written in a very simple way, simple things to extract from the JSON, simple things to put the whole string as a JSON somewhere, store it in a file, use a file as a JSON. You don't have to write extra code for that. It's already there, and you have to understand how to use it. Assertion weight are written in such a way where you will get exact detail when it is failing, right? So it will show you exact thing. Okay, this particular thing is failing for this reasons, right? It's like this. Wait here are used very effectively in a particular command. Also, you can say, okay, I want to execute this command within 10 seconds. Whereas in Selenium, you have to write explicitly that I want to wait for this particular element for maximum 15 seconds and then do it. It's like this. Please don't use annotation here. Okay, we'll talk about it. Don't worry about it. Today is just a demo thing, right? Um, Playwright's capability, coming to that part, inbuilt framework, a basic framework is there. Um, Fixture is good. Test data input, if you want to do it in a very simple way, it's there. You can implement page object model in Playwright also. There is uh, no extra thing you have to do. If you understand about the page object thing in Selenium, you can do here also. Reporting is very strong here. Um, and strong choice of, yeah, it's a strong choice for the test automation. And it encourages you to explore a lot of things, right? People will write a lot of different libraries in future, so you will try to explore. Okay, I want to use this thing, I want to open PDF file, let's say, and I want to check. So you will check it. Okay, is there any library available which I can use, right? Or anything. I'm just giving one example, right? You want to use XML as an input, how to do it in Playwright. So you will, it will encourage you on all these things. Fine. Okay. Now the question time. So I'll encourage that you can ask any question, and no question is a silly question here.